This conference will now be recorded.
So in the previous session, we have discussed about Lightning Web Components, and we have discussed what exactly the Lightning Web Component and how these are different from the Aura components, which has introduced by Salesforce in 2014 based on the 2014 web stack. And in 2018 December, Salesforce has introduced the Lightning Web Components, which are purely built upon 2019 web stack, which will be having more features inbuilt, which will provide more faster performance also. And then, which is going to be reducing the coding as well, which provides more attractive look and feel, and which is having inbuilt rendering mechanism because it is using the shadow DAM internally, and which provides the various HTML custom elements also, custom templates also. Okay, we can build by our own. So which provides the inbuilt events also, inbuilt actions also available, okay, by default as part of this Lightning Web Components. And that already we have discussed. In order to build the Lightning Web Components, our normal Salesforce developer console will not be sufficient. Generally, if you want to build any of your Salesforce application, we are going to our Salesforce org. We are going to our Salesforce org. It will be any organization, developer edition, unlimited edition, professional, enterprise, whatever, anything. So now we are going to use our own edition. Inside this edition, we are able to build the application whatever we want. Now, so we can build whatever the functionalities that you want, we can able to build by using Apex programming, by using Visual Force programming, and by using Aura components also. That is, Aura components are also called as Lightning components in the sense Aura components. Now, so as part of this Salesforce, they have introduced their own Lightning Web Component framework, that is LWC, where in order to build that LWC, so this developer console will not be sufficient. Till now, we have built so many Lightning components also by using Aura framework. There we have built so many components. We have built that CSS also, and then JavaScripts also we have built, okay, previously. But now we are going to be using this Lightning Web Component. In order to develop this Lightning Web Components, this developer console will not be supported. Developer console will not support to build your Lightning Web Components. For that one, we require an IDE that is called as Integrated Development Environment, that is called as VS Code. We can use either VS Code or Sublime, which is Sublime. So in order to build your own Lightning Web Components, here we have discussed there are multiple environments are available. We can use that editor, either VS Code or Sublime. So VS Code is the editor which has been recommended by Salesforce, okay, which has been recommended by Salesforce. Salesforce people are recommended to use VS Code editor, which especially has been designed for Salesforce application development. By using this VS Code editor, we can build your own applications and we can build your own, okay, Apex classes, Visual Force pages, Aura components, Lightning Web Components, everything we can build by using this VS Code editor. And the second one is Sublime. which is very rare case. So the people won't use much. Okay, hardly 5% of the people are using some Sublime editor because it won't provide all the functionalities like as VS Code, because VS Code is an editor which is recommended by Salesforce, which especially designed by the Microsoft people for especially for Salesforce development. For Salesforce development, Microsoft people has built an IDE that is VS Code, Visual Studio Code Editor. And in the previous session, I told you there is an App Action product also available that is LWC Developer Console. But this is not recommended to use. Don't use this one. And yesterday in the previous session also I have discussed how to install this VS Code editor, and then how to configure, how to connect with your organization, how to build a Lightning Web Component, Lightning Web Component bundle. All these things we have discussed in the previous session. So I have given the complete step-by-step approach, okay, in order to install the VS Code editor inside your organization, and then how to build our own Lightning Web Component. Also, I have given the complete steps to you. Now, so from now onwards, completely we are building with the help of VS Code editor only. And in the previous session, I showed you one small component, how to develop that small component, and in order to show some message, okay, on the browser. In order to show some message on the browser, how to develop a small component we have discussed. I will repeat that topic again here. That means how to build the Lightning Web Component. I will prepare that one more component here, and then we'll see how to interact with this data variables from JavaScript, and how to place some button controls, input controls, card layouts, everything we'll see one by one. Now, because already we know as part of the Sara components, we have discussed so many tags over there. We have discussed so many tags as part of these ARA components, but tag names are changed as part of LWC. Here we are using Lightning, okay, colon, but here we have to use, okay, as part of LWC, we have to use Lightning hyphen. Lightning hyphen. I will show you the changes also. Now, so how to use this Lightning button controls and then Lightning input controls, everything we'll see practically. So now I would like to go to my Visual Studio Code editor, which is already authorized with my organization. We have created a Scratch arc. We have enabled the Dev Hub also inside our organization. Okay, already we have discussed how to enable a Scratch organization, how to enable a Dev Hub, what is the difference between Scratch arc and Dev Hub, everything we have discussed in the previous session. Now, today we'll see how can we build the features. Okay, we'll see practically here. And how can we define some properties in JavaScript, and then how can we access those properties in the Lightning Web Component, we'll see. And how we are doing in the ARA components, how we are doing in the Lightning Web Component, we'll see practically today. Now, let me go to my VS Code editor. This is my Visual Studio Code editor, okay, which we have configured in the previous session. I showed you the complete practical steps also for you, how to configure, how to authorize, how to create a Lightning Web Component. Complete steps already I have explained, okay, in the previous session. So now let's see how can we create our own Lightning component here and the Lightning Web Component, and then how can we write the code, and then how can we deploy and how can we test it. We'll see practically one more example, and then I will show you that, okay, how to interact with the JavaScript as part of this, okay, Lightning Web Component. How to define some properties or variables in JavaScript code, and then how to access them in Lightning Web Component, okay, we'll see. Now, let me explain. In order to create your own Lightning Web Component, we have to go to that command palette. Okay, we have to go to that command palette, and in that command palette, we have to use a command create new Lightning Web Component. Now, how to go to the command palette that already we know. In order to go to the command palette, there is a shortcut is available that is called as Control Shift P. Okay, there is a shortcut is called as Control Shift P. Or else what we can do in the left corner, okay, in the left corner you will be having a gear icon is available. Just you can click on this gear icon. Here also you will be having this option command palette. Okay, command palette. Any one of these you can use. Better to go with the shortcut options here. Make it okay fast. Okay. So now click on this command palette. Now it is providing the command palette to you here. I want to create a new Lightning Web Component. So use this, okay, create Lightning Web Component. So now you will be having the option over here, okay, create Lightning Web Component. So now I want to create a new Lightning Web Component here. So now here, let's see, okay, how can we indicate that? So now my requirement is I want to create a new Lightning Web Component in order to show some message, okay, on my browser. Okay, in order to show some message, okay, on my browser. Then how can we define this Lightning Web Component? Okay, now let's see practically. Just you can click on create, okay, Lightning Web Component, and then it will ask you to specify the Lightning Web Component name. Now go to that Control Shift P, create Lightning Web Component, select this option Lightning Web Component, specify the Lightning Web Component name. That already told you, okay, whenever we are giving this name for the Lightning Web Component, okay, please follow the camel case. That means start that Lightning Web Component name with a small letter, not with uppercase letter. Use that lowercase letters. That is the notation followed over here. Now, so now here in this case, let's see how can we give that Lightning Web Component. So now here I'm going to be indicating, okay, LWC Lightning Web Component. Okay, I'm giving the name as show message component. Show message component. I'm creating a Lightning Web Component with the name LWC show message component. Press enter. It will ask you to select the default directory. So now here we see the default directory force app main default LWC. So now select that same directory here. Now it is creating a Lightning Web Component. Now, so this is my Lightning Web Component that we have. So now here we can verify this. So this is the Lightning Web Component. In the left panel under this LWC folder, we are having a Lightning Web Component with the name LWC show message component. That already told you in the previous session. Whenever we are creating a new Lightning Web Component, by default, okay, Salesforce is providing 3 files. It is preparing 3 files. One HTML template file, which contains the visual appearance. And second one, a JavaScript file, which contains the client-side controllers. And then it will be preparing a metadata file, metadata XML file, which is used to indicate where this component can be used. Already we have discussed in the previous session as well. Okay, I showed you in order to indicate what are all the various places where this component to be get used, that we can indicate the targets also. Like in the previous session, I showed you over there. So now, when coming to the metadata.xml file, I have indicated that to indicate here, please expose this component over here. And then I want to use this component in Lightning app page, Lightning home page, Lightning record page, Lightning tab page, Lightning quick actions, where you want to use that, we can specify. To indicate what are all the various places this component can be get referenced, okay, to indicate that we are using this metadata XML file. Now, so now here also we are having the 3 files are available. So now this is the file name here. Okay, here's my Lightning component, web component, LWC show message component. Inside that we are having an HTML file which is having the default tag called as template that already I already told you here. When coming to the Lightning Web Component, each Lightning Web Component should be starting and ending with the tag template. Template is a tag, okay, in between which we need to design our own user interface. which you want to represent as part of that component. Generally, if it is a HTML, each HTML file will be starting with HTML tag. Starting HTML, ending HTML. And then, suppose if you're designing a Visualforce page, it is starting with a Apex page. Apex page. There is a starting, there is an end here. Suppose if you are using any ARA components here, you will be having that ARA component. Starting and ending with ARA component. But when coming to the LWC, each LWC component will be starting and ending with a template tag. Okay, template tag. Okay, so no HTML, no Apex page, no ARA component here. It is we are going to be using the default. So by default, every Lightning Web component HTML template file will be starting with template tag. It should be ending with template tag. It should start and ending with template tag over here. Now, let's see in this case. So now this is the default file here, which contains the visual appearance. That means the designing, the markup. The markup code will be available over here. Second one, the JavaScript file. Here we need to define your own properties, your own functions, client-side controllers, everything we need to write in between this. Okay, here we can able to, it will be collecting all the Lightning elements which are required, okay, in order to build the Lightning Web component. Whatever the Lightning elements are required, everything will be collecting automatically, and then we can prepare our own functions and the JavaScript properties, and we can define decorators also, and we can export and import those modules also, everything we do. So now here we are writing this code here. Okay, here we need to write the JavaScript code. And then this is the third one, the metadata XML file, which indicates, okay, where exactly this particular Lightning component can be referenced. Now, so these are the three files we'll be generating by Salesforce. Suppose if you want to add any styles, then we have to add that style file manually. Just you have to go to the Lightning component here, right click on this, click on new file, and then give that file name like as your Lightning component name .css, so that we can able to add the file. So why it is not giving that file by default? Because if we are using this style class, that means style file, that means CSS file, compulsorily we have to provide at least one style. Okay, at least one style we have to provide. Suppose if I'm making that file as empty, it won't allow. Okay, it won't allow. It won't allow to, okay, make that file as empty. Compulsorily we have to provide at least one style inside that. That is a mandatory principle, okay, that we have. Now, so now here in this case here, let's see. For example, here, I would like to represent some message here, okay, which where I would like to specify some H1. I'm indicating this message now, which is in bold format, which is in bold format. I want to show the message over here. Now we can specify welcome to Lightning Web Components. Welcome to Lightning Web Components. So this is a message which I would like to represent. So a sample message I would like to represent, okay, on my browser. So as part of this Lightning Web component, it should show a message, okay, welcome to Lightning Web Components. So that here I'm going to be representing this message inside the template file. So the template, the HTML file contains your visual appearance. Whatever the text boxes, the buttons, the labels, and the card controls which you want to design, everything we can design in this HTML file. And then I don't want to use any JavaScript code. I don't want to use any metadata file over here. Just I want to represent some message. Okay, welcome to Lightning Web Components. And then I would like to give you a break tag. I would like to use a break tag. I would like to give one more break tag now. I'm indicating this message. I'm giving that bold tag. This is my first Lightning Web component. Web component. and built by using VS Code editor. So now here I'm indicating this, okay? I'm giving this message. This is my first Lightning Web Component, okay, built by using VS Code editor. Now, so now once you are done, okay, once you are done with this code, then what we need to do, we have to push this code into the Scratch arg. Okay, we have to push this code to Scratch arg. In the previous session, we have discussed what exactly is Scratch arg and what exactly a DevHub. We have discussed, okay, previously in the last session. Now, Scratch organization is nothing but a virtual environment. Okay, it's a disposable environment where we can write some code, we can test it, and then we can deploy to the DevHub. That already told you Scratch organization maximum duration will be 30 days, not more than that. That will be purely 30 days. So already we have given that time period also. I hope everybody has done with the installation of this VS Code editor. Now, so now we are going to pushing this code to the Scratch arg, and from there we can able to run it. Now, let's save this code. Whenever I'm saving by using Control S, automatically it is pushing this code to my Scratch arg. It is showing this message over here. Now running SFDS. Okay, now the code has been pushed to my Scratch arg successfully. It is indicating the message push source to okay developer default Scratch arg successfully run. So whatever the code that you have prepared, that code has been pushed to my Scratch arg successfully here. Now, so now it is giving that clear information over here. These are the components here. So now LWC, okay, show message component.html, LWC show message component.js, and then LWC show component message, and then metadata file has been deployed to that Scratch organization successfully. Now, so in this case, once the code has been getting prepared, we have to push this to the Scratch arg, because if I'm not pushing this code to the Scratch arg, we can't run, we can't test it. In order to test, we have to run, right? Yes, inside this Visual Studio Code editor, we can't run this one. This is only in IDE, which is used to build, and then once the code has been getting prepared, and then we can move it to the Scratch organization, there we can run it. Now, so that here we have to push. Whenever I'm saving this code, automatically this entire code will be pushing to that Scratch arg. Now I want to go to the Scratch arg in order to we can run that one. Okay, I would like to go to that Scratch arg to run this one. Now, so now let's see how can we go to the Scratch arg. Just you can go to the command palette again, Control Shift P. Now it is having this open default arg. So now open default arg, automatically it will be opening your Scratch arg. Now my Scratch organization has been opened over here. So now here we can see that code, whether my Lightning component has been pushed to this Scratch arg or not. So in this case, how can we verify? In order to verify that, search for the option like Lightning components. Okay, Lightning components. Click on this Lightning components. So now here we can verify that. So now it is indicating LWC show message component, because this is the component which we have built over here. Now we need to run this component. How can we run Lightning components? We can't run by our own. Okay, in order to run this one, we have to use an application. So already we have prepared one application in the past. Just you can prepare an Ara application, and then we can able to access it. Just you can go to the Ara application which we have prepared previously. So now in this application, we can able to access this one. Here I would like to access this component. Now I would like to call that component. What is my component name here? LWC show message component. LWC, okay, show message component. This is the component name here. Okay, just you can save it. Now push this application also to that Scratch arg. From there we can run. Now it has been moved that code to that scratch arc successfully. Let's go to your that scratch arc. Go to the developer console. Open your application. Open your application. That is open Lightning resource. This is the Lightning app that we have. Okay, LWC test app which we have prepared. Now, when you go to this application, here it is indicating LWC show message component, which I would like to run. Click on this preview. Now we can see that message. Whatever the message that were written, we can able to see this message. So now it is indicating welcome to Lightning Web Components. And then here it is indicating that my message also, after giving this 2 line spaces, it is giving that message. This is my first Lightning Web Component built by using VS Code Editor. So this is how we are going to building our own Lightning Web Component by using this VS Code Editor, and we can push to this scratch arc, and then from there we can able to run and we can test it. Now, this process already we have discussed in the previous session. Now also we have discussed one more example so that you can feel comfortable with the navigation process. Because it's not straightforward like as your Apex and Visual Force. Writing the code, run it directly, not like that. We have to write the code inside your Visual Studio Code editor and then save that code into your scratch arc. From there we have to run. Once all the components has been built, then how can we migrate these components from our scratch arc to DevHub? I will show you practically in upcoming sessions. How to deploy that code to the other environments, okay, I will show you practically when moving forward. Okay, this is the way we are going to building our own Lightning Web Component. Suppose, for example, if I'm using any style file, that means if you want to apply any styles, then what we can do, we have to go to your Lightning Web Component here and then add a style file. So this is the component name, LWC show message component. So now here these are the files are available. I would like to add a CSS file also here. Now create a new file. I'm giving the file name as okay, LWC show message component dot css. Okay, so now LWC show message component dot css. So now your CSS file has been getting added. This is the CSS file which is empty. Okay, there is an empty file. When you try to push this empty file, it won't allow. Okay, it won't allow here. Let's see. When I click on this save button here, it will show some error message. This file cannot be okay. This file should not be in empty. Now see, it is indicating push source default to scratch organization has been failed. Why it is indicating some message also here. Now, so now in this case here, as part of our scratch organization, the file cannot be an empty file over here. That should be having some content inside that. Now see, it is indicating that. So now as part of this Lightning Web Component, okay, show message component dot okay XML file, it is indicating Lightning component resource. This is the CSS file for Lightning component bundle. This file cannot be empty. That means if it is an empty, we can't deploy. That is a problem. We have to place minimum one entry. We have to place minimum one style. For example, I'm placing one style over here, like as some div, okay, div style. We are placing this div style, like as some width. Okay, width, I'm indicating some 500 pixels. 500 pixels. And then I'm indicating border. Okay, border. Border, 1 pixel. Okay, 1 pixel. Okay, solid. Okay, I would like to specify that information. Solid black. Now, so it is indicating the colors also. If you want to use that red color, then you can specify. Now, depends upon your requirement here. So now the black. Okay, solid black. And then if you want to apply any margins over here, margin left, I would like to indicate some 300 pixels. and the margin right or the margin top, you can specify, depends upon your requirement. All the properties are available here. But when you go to that developer console, you won't get this kind of intelligence. Here you are getting this intelligence also. Margin top, I'm indicating some 100 pixels. Like that, we can specify the style. Now let's save this. Let's save this CSS file. Now it will be saving into that. See, now it is running successfully. So whenever we are preparing any CSS file or the style file, that should not be empty. Compulsorily, it should have. Compulsorily, it should have minimum one style inside that. That is a fundamental principle as part of Lightning Web Component. Like the similar way, if you are using some SVG, that means here for the icons, then we have to prepare minimum one icon. Without that icon information, that file will not be saving into that scratch art. So these are the fundamental principles we have to follow. That's what here it is not providing these two files. SVG file, CSS file is not preparing by the Lightning Web Component by default, because this should have minimum at least one entry. Without that, the file cannot be saving into scratch arc. Okay. Now, so now here in this case, this is how we are going to preparing Lightning Web Component by using Visual Studio Code Editor. Now, let me place this code. Now, space. Design a Lightning Web Component. Designing a Lightning Web Component to represent the message on the component. It means on the browser. On that browser, if you want to represent any message, then we can able to use this Lightning Web Component. Now, let's see in this case. Now, so now here in this case, if you want to apply that style, whatever the style that we have prepared over here, if you want to apply this style, then we can able to specify that here. Now for this div tag, I would like to apply this style here. How can we implement? Okay, let me show you. For example, let me apply some more styles also over here. Let's see. So now I would like to indicate that. So now we have specified the width also 500 pixels, and then border I'm indicating that black border. Margin left, that will be 300 pixels. Margin top 100 pixels, and the border radius. Border radius I'm going to be indicating like some 10 pixels. That means it's a curved border here. So whatever the border that I want the curved border. Like for example, it should not, generally it will be having this border like this. Exactly the corners will be available here. I don't want this corner. I would like to make as a curved border here, like this. Okay, instead of this one, I would like to have some curved border in this case. For that one, we are using border radius. Now, so now here I'm indicating that pixel here, 10 pixel. Suppose if you're giving some more, then it is going to be indicating like here. Okay, it will be indicating like. Instead of that, I would like to go with that like this format. That's it, exactly. Not like this here. For that one, depends upon your requirement here, how much curve that you want. For that one, you can specify border radius. Now I'm indicating that padding left. So now I would like to specify padding left. I would like to specify 10 pixels and the padding right. Padding right, I'm going to be indicating this 10 pixels. Now, so whatever the content is getting visible here. So now this is the starting of my border here. So in this case, the content should be visible where? So here I would like to give some space. Okay, I would like to give some space. From here, the actual content has to be get printed. I'm indicating 10 pixels here. Okay. Now here also 10 pixels. Now the padding. So now here I'm indicating this. I'm printing this message, whatever you want. For that one, I'm using this div style. Now let's see. So now let me apply this div style over here for my HTML. Whatever the content that I'm going to represent, that content I would like to place inside this div. Now this entire content I want to show inside this div tag. Inside this div tag, I would like to represent this. Now let's save this style. So now let's save this component also here. Now, so now the code has been moved to that scratcher. Now just you can go to your scratcher and run this one. This is the Lightning component application that we have. Run this Lightning application. Click on update preview. Now we can see that. Whatever the message that we have prepared, that message is getting visible inside this div tag. So now we have prepared a border over here. This is a border which we have prepared. It's a curved border which we have specified. So this is the solid block, and which will be having that starting, which is having that 500 pixel width. This is the 500 pixel width. I have given the border margin left is a 300 pixel. That means this is the margin left. From left side here margin, I have given this 300 pixels. And the margin top, I have given that from after starting this browser, it will be giving 100 pixels over here. Here I'm indicating this 10 pixels of so padding inside this 10 pixels of padding over here. So this is how we are going to be indicating the content over here inside your Lightning Web Component. We can prepare your own style inside the style file, and then we can able to apply those styles for your tag. Previously, what happened when coming to that style, we have to prepare the style for this div tag. We have to use a property class. Div class equals to, we have to specify the class name where exactly the style is available here. But now, so we are not going to be using those kind of class style property directly. We can able to apply this div here. So now for this div tag, whatever the style is available, this will be getting applicable for my div automatically by default. That facility is available. Now, let me place this code. And apply the style. I'm placing the style class. And then component. Let me place this style. So this is the way, we are going to be defining our own Lightning components, and then we can apply the styles also. Next one. Let's see how can we define some variables inside that JavaScript file, and then how can we access them in Lightning Web Component. Now let me explain this concept as well. So now here, first of all, let me explain how we did in Aura components. In Aura components also we did the same, like when you go to the Aura components over here. Now let's see. When you go to this Aura components also we did that same. Like for example, let me show you our Aura components code. What we did. Now, see, let me explain this. Now, if you want to access any variable from JavaScript to our ARA components, how we did, and then how to do the same thing in Lightning Web Components, and how it has been simplified. Okay, now let me explain practically in this case. Now, let me explain. For example, I have a JavaScript file. Okay, let me explain the ARA components and how we did, and then how it has been simplified in Lightning Web Components. I will explain. This is the JavaScript file. Okay, JavaScript file. Which is .js. And then we have our Lightning component, ARA component. We have ARA components. That is .cmp. It's a component file. Suppose, for example, inside my JavaScript, I have some two variables are available. Some message is available here, like I'm having some variables where customer code. Okay, where customer code equals to I'm having some value C44450034. So this is one variable which I have defined in JavaScript. Second one where customer name. So now we have defined one more value that is called as some Ram Kumar. Okay, these are the two values are available over here. So now this is my ARA component is available. In this ARA component, okay, we have to write that piece of code. What needs to be done? For example, this is my ARA component here. ARA component. This is my ARA component. Now, if you want to represent this value, so whatever the values that we have, okay, whatever the values that we have in these variables, in this JavaScript variables, these two variable values I want to print onto my component here. I want to print onto my component. Then what needs to be done? How can we access? Directly, we can't access it. Directly, we can't access it over here. Directly, we can't access this JavaScript variable inside my ARA component. Then what we need to do, we have to define some set of properties here. Okay, that means we have to define some attributes. Define the attributes. In these attributes, we have to pass that value. What needs to be done? Here we need to define some attribute. Like ARA attribute, we have to specify the type equals to string, name equals to, I'm indicating C code, customer code here. There is one attribute. Second one, ARA attribute. Type equals to string and name equals to C name, customer name. We can give any name for this reference. Now in this case, we have to define this two properties. That means two attributes here. Once attributes has been getting defined, then what we need to do, whatever the values we have entered in the JavaScript, these values we have to pass to my attributes here. Okay, we need to pass to these attributes. How can we do that? For that one, inside the JavaScript, we need to set this value to this attributes. For that one, we have to specify component.set. Component.set. So what we have to specify variable name. CV dot Okay, we have to specify what is the variable name. Okay, and that means attribute name C code. C code is a attribute. In this attribute, pass a value. What value? We have to specify this value, customer code. That means whatever the customer code value that we have, pass this customer code value to this particular variable C code. Okay, pass this value to that C code over here. Now, second one here. That means here this value will be storing inside my attribute, that is C code. Like the similar way, we have to specify component dot set of v dot variable dot C name. And here we can specify that variable name. So what is that variable name here? Customer name. That's it. That means what? We have to define two variables and store the values inside that. And then these values we have to pass to my attributes here by using component dot set. So now these values will be storing inside these attributes. Now here we can able to display that values here. Okay, here we can display that values. Now, like customer code is, we can able to show. How can we show? By using this flower braces and exclamation symbol v dot C code. That means in this C code variable, whatever the value is available, we have to enter that. And then a break tag, I'm indicating customer name is, we have to specify v. The v means variable task, which is C name. In this customer name, whatever the value is available, that value we have to print. This is how we have to do as part of ARA components. That means what? Define the required variables inside your JavaScript file. And then once the values are available in the JavaScript file, then define the attributes inside your component. Pass the value from JavaScript file to the attributes to the component, and then we can able to represent that values inside our component variable. These are the steps that we have to follow, and we need to write this much of code. Now, for example, if you want to do the same functionality in LWC, what we can do? Now, let me show you in this case. This is for ARA components here. This is for ARA components. Let's see how simple when coming to that, LWC. Lightning Web Components. How simple it is. Here also I'm having some JavaScript file. Let me prepare this. Now, I'm having a JavaScript file. I'm having a JavaScript file, and I have my Lightning Web component. Then how can we do that here? Now let's see. So now as part of my Lightning Web, as part of my JavaScript file, this is the JavaScript file. Like for example, so now it is having show message component.js. This is the HTML file, .html. That means it's a template file. Now, that means component file. So here I'm defining some variables. Whenever you are defining the variables, no need to use this var keyword also. Directly we can define the variables. Customer code equals to, we can specify the value. C, 5003489. Customer name equals to, I'm indicating some Santosh Kumar. Santosh Kumar. So two variables I'm defining over here. Now these two variables values I would like to access in my Lightning Web component. Then how can we do that? No need to use any attributes here, nothing. For example, this is my template tag. Here's my template tag. Template. I'm having this by template. You know that every Lightning Web Component should be start and ending with the template tag. So now if you want to access these two variable values from JavaScript to your Lightning Web Component, directly we can access here. Without using any attributes, no need to use component.set, nothing. Forget about all these things here. Because they made this code simplified. They made the development simplified. That's what here when coming to the ARA components are having huge lines of code, but when coming to the Lightning Web Component, the code has been reduced. Now, so many features has been completely optimized. So now here I'm indicating that customer code is, I would like to print directly, we can specify the braces. That means flower braces we can specify, and then inside that is called as an expression. These are called as properties. Whatever the variables we have defined inside the JavaScript, these are called as properties. Okay, these are called as properties. Each and every variable which you have defined, these are called as properties in Lightning Web Component. Whatever the variables we have defined inside your JavaScript, those variables are called as properties in Lightning Web Component. So now we can access the property directly without using any exclamation symbol. Generally, if it is a ARA, we are using exclamation v dot, we are giving this customer code. But here we no need to specify all these things. Just to remove this exclamation also, v dot also. Directly we can specify variable. This is how the simplified version. Now, here I'm indicating a break tag to display the next one here. Customer name is, directly we can access customer name. Yeah, that's it, simple. See how much lines of code has been reduced when coming to that, okay, ARA and Lightning Web Component. See how much difference that we have. Okay, in ARA component, multiple steps are available. In Lightning Web Components, upon data binding, okay, upon binding the data from JavaScript to your, okay, Lightning components, okay, it is very, very simple. Just you can define the properties, and then we can able to access those properties inside your Lightning Web Component also directly just by using curly braces. No need to use any exclamation symbol. No need to use a v dot also. Okay, don't use that variable dot. Directly we can specify the property name inside it, inside that curly braces. That's it. This is how we are going to be accessing. Now let's see how can we do that data binding as part of this Lightning Web Component. We can now, let me show you with a practical example. Now let's see. Let me give the notepad here. Data binding in LWC. Now, by using this feature, we can define the properties. We can define the properties inside the JavaScript file, and we can access them from Lightning Web Component. Okay, from Lightning Web Component, and represent the values. Represent the property values based on the need, we can represent the property values. Now, in this case, step 1, define the properties inside the JavaScript file. As below. For example, customer code equals to, I'm going to be indicating that P600500. Customer name equals to, I'm indicating some Rajesh Kumar, and the balance amount equals to, I'm indicating 45,000. It's a numerical, so directly we can specify, and then we can access here. As a step 2, access the properties inside the Lightning Web Component by using the below syntax. Just you can specify the curly braces, we can specify the property name. So this is the syntax. Now here we can access customer code is, we can specify. Now here we can specify customer code. Customer name is, I would like to specify customer name. Here I'm indicating a break tag. And the balance amount. That's it. This is how we can able to bind the variables inside your Lightning Web Components. Directly we can able to access them. Now, let's see how can we do that, okay, with a practical use case. Let me show you. Take a small use case. Design a Lightning Web Component to define the properties and represent the property values. On the component. And represent the property values on the components. Now, let's see how can we do that. Now, let me go to my VS Code. Let me prepare a Lightning Web Component. Now, so now let me create a new Lightning Web Component. Use it command palette. Create a Lightning Web Component. I'm indicating data binding component. I'm giving this component a name as data binding component. Select the default folder. It will create a Lightning component for you. So now this is the data binding component which we have prepared right now. Now, this is the component which we have prepared. Now let's go to that, okay, JavaScript file, define the variables, whatever you want. That means properties. So now here we'll be having this, okay. So now export default class data binding component which extends Lightning elements. So whatever the elements are available, everything will be getting loading automatically. Now inside this braces, define your properties, whatever you want. I'm indicating the properties. Customer code equals to, I'm indicating C 56002345. Customer name equals to, I'm indicating some Tata Motors Incorporation. I'm indicating that email address. Email address equals to Tata Motors @gmail.com. Balance amount equals to, I'm indicating some 1,45 lakhs. And then address, that means contact address. Contact address equals to some flat number, 54, software units layout, some Madhapur, Hyderabad. So these are the various properties which I have defined here, okay, as part of my JavaScript. No need to use a keyword var. Directly we can define variable name and then value, because that already we know JavaScript is purely a loosely coupled programming. JavaScript is a loosely coupled program. Now, so these are the various properties here. This is one property, this is another property, this is another property, this is another property, this is another property. These are all of the properties here. That means each variable which we have defined, that every variable is called as a property in JavaScript as part of Lightning Web Component. Okay, in Lightning Web Component, inside the JavaScript file, whatever the variable you have defined, every variable is called as a separate property. Customer code is a property. Customer name is a property. See, it is indicating that. Whenever I'm placing this mouse pointer, it is indicating the braces, it's a property. Now, email address, it is also a property. Balance amount, a property. Contact address, a property. So every variable which you have defined inside your JavaScript file, that is called as a property. So directly we can access the property by using curly braces inside our Lightning component. So once the properties has been defined, then how can we access the property inside my Lightning Web component? Now, let's see practically in this case. Go to your HTML file. Go to the HTML file. Here I'm going to be using this div tag. Okay, div tag. For this div tag, we can apply your own styles also, whatever you want. Whatever the style that you want, you can apply. So previously we have applied a style, right? Now the similar kind of style also we can apply. Now, the same kind of style I would like to apply here also. Let me prepare a style file. Click on new file. Data binding component dot css. Inside this, I'm placing this file. Okay, now, so this is the CSS file where I'm having this div tag. So in this div tag, I would like to prepare that message here. Customer code is I would like to show. Now I'm going to be indicating this. Customer code. Now I'm giving a break tag. Customer name is customer name. And then I would like to indicate email address. Email address. I'm indicating the break tag. And then balance amount. Balance amount. Contact address is contact address. So now these are the various variables. So these are the properties which we have defined. So, but please make sure that, okay, spelling should be correct, and then that to case sensitivity, because that already you know, JavaScript is purely case sensitive. That already I have given multiple times during JavaScript concept. Now, so now here we have defined these 5 variables. That means 5 properties. These 5 properties I'm accessing from a Lightning Web component. Now, save this. Now it is failed to run. Let's see what is the problem. Component bundle file cannot be empty. Let's save this file first. Now let's save this. Now my code has been run successfully. Now let's go to that ARA app application and then call this application. That means call this component here. So what is my component name in this case? I'm having the component data binding. Data binding component. Okay, now move this application also to that scratch app. Then we can run this application. That component will run. It will show the result. Now let's go to that scratch app. Now refresh this. Now it is indicating the data over here. So whatever the data that we have specified, the data will be getting visible, like as customer code and the customer name and the email address, balance amount, and the contact address. The whole data will be getting visible, okay, inside your div tag. So we can able to show the whole content also over here. So this is how we are going to be defining the properties in JavaScript, and then we can access those properties, okay, from your Lightning Web Component directly just with the help of the curly braces, without using any attributes and without using any v dot. That means we are not using that, okay, dot notations. No dot notations here. V dot, C dot, nothing. Forget about those things from now onwards as part of LWC. So when coming to the ARA components, we are using the dot notations purely. But here, no, okay, expressions like a single exclamation symbol, no dot notations here. Purely we can access by using this property name itself. Okay, this is the way we are going to be defining the properties, and then we can able to access those properties from your Lightning Web Component. Now, let me place this code. Now, let me place this code. Style class. Template file. JavaScript file. And then application. Let me place this code. Template. JavaScript file. Now, this is the way. This is how we are going to be defining the properties inside your JavaScript, and then we can access each property from your Lightning Web Component also directly. Now, let's see how can we place some button controls. That already we know. Each and every control already we have discussed in ARA, but the tag names are different. Okay, in LWC. So now, during our Lightning ARA components, I have discussed about so many tags over there. So many components we have discussed over there. Like we have discussed about the component called as button component. Like, let me explain. So now Lightning button component, and then we have discussed about the button groups also, button icon, button menu, button stateful, button icon stateful. Multiple types of buttons, 6 types of buttons are available in ARA component. The same buttons are available in our Lightning Web Component also, but the tag names are different. Okay, tag names are different. So now how these tag names are available here in Lightning Web Components over here. Okay, now the properties will be almost similar. Okay, properties almost similar, but some little bit changes are available in the properties also. Then how to represent these button controls on our Lightning Web Component? Okay, we'll see. Let me explain that here. What exactly the button component means. So now let me go to this. These are the ARA component buttons. As part of ARA, these are the button names are available. These are the button controls, 6 types of buttons. Now, in this case here, what exactly the button names when coming to your Lightning Web Component? As part of this Lightning Web Component also, we are having this buttons are available. Now, let's see in this case here what are the various components are available here. Now let me explain. Now, as part of this Lightning Web Component, okay, we are having this buttons are available, but the names are having some little bit of changes over here. Okay, now in this case here, what are the various buttons are available? Now let me explain. So now these button names are just, they have changed these names. Now this is ARA. ARA button. As part of this ARA, these are the button components. Now, when coming to the LWC, how these button component names are look like here. Now, let's see how these button components will be getting look like. The button names are, okay, Lightning hyphen button. Okay, it's not Lightning colon, it's a Lightning hyphen button. So now you will be having next one, Lightning hyphen button group, button hyphen group. Okay, button hyphen group. See, observe the changes over here from ARA to LWC. Now, next one, button icon. So now this colon we have to replace with hyphen. Now, always, everywhere, wherever we have colon in our normal Lightning ARA components, that colon has been replaced with hyphen. Now, next one we have button icon. Button hyphen icon. This is the tag. Button hyphen menu. Button hyphen stateful. Button hyphen stateful. Here S will be small. Okay, no capital letters over here. Here all are small letters only here. All are small letters. But when you go to that lightning components, okay, are components. So here their component names are uppercase, lowercase, but in this case, completely lowercase. Now, lightning hyphen button hyphen stateful. Next one, we are having this button icon stateful. Button hyphen I small hyphen and then stateful. Yes, small. Okay, stateful. These are the tags. Okay, these are the tags. See, observe the differences between ARA and Lightning LWC. Tags are almost similar. Some tags are not available here. We'll see what tags are not available. We'll see those part as well. So now this is the transformation that we have. This is the transformation. Lightning hyphen button. Lightning hyphen button hyphen group. Okay, button group. And then button icon. Button hyphen menu. Button hyphen stateful. Button hyphen icon space stateful. So these are the various button components are available as part of LWC. So in this Lightning Web Components, we are having various button components are available that already we know in ARA. Already we have discussed in ARA components. Every button type already we have discussed with practical use cases also. Now, the same button components are available in our Lightning Web Components as well here. Now, when you go to the properties here, as part of this button components, whatever the properties are available, similar properties will be available here also. But in this case, when coming to the property names, here we are having icon name. So, but here as part of Lightning Web Component, so now just we are having this icon space name. Okay, icon space name, and that to this end will be small, no capital letters. Okay, no capital letters. All the property names are small letters in Lightning Web Components. That is one thing. Okay, please remember this. Okay, no capital letters here. Okay, no capital letters in Lightning Web Component. All are small letters only. Now, let's see how can we use this one. That already we have discussed when coming to the ARA components over here. This is the complete notes also have given to you. So now basically button controls are used to place the button control on your visual on your Lightning component in order to perform some actions. In order to invoke some actions, it may be client-side controller, or if you want to invoke the server-side controllers also. In order to invoke those actions, we are using the help of button controls. So as part of this Lightning components, directly we can't invoke the server-side controller. We have to invoke client-side controller. Then client-side controller will invoke server-side controller. That already we know that part. Already we have discussed how to do that in the previous examples. Now, so here as part of this button, we are having so many properties are available. Like we have label property to specify the caption for the button, name property to give a unique identification number to recognize each button control, title property like a tooltip text message, disabled property to indicate whether should be enabled state or disabled state, and the class property to specify the style, okay, which style you want to apply, CSS style you can apply, type of the button here, okay, type of the button, is it a normal button or is it reset or is it submit, what type of button it is, access key to specify, okay, to specify that shortcut keys over here for each and every button control. Now variant, what type of look and feel that you want to apply. Variant is indicating style or the appearance of your button control. So where we have discussed about various variants also, base variant, neutral, brand, brand outline, destructive, destructive text, success, inverse, the various various variants we have discussed, and I have given that information also to you over here. Today we'll see that one here, how to place this one. Here some one more small changes are also available in Lightning Web Component. Now if you want to place the button controls along with some icons, then we can apply the icon also, icon position also we can specify. Upon click on the button control, what operations you want to do, everything we can specify over here. That facilities are available as part of this Lightning button controls as part of this Lightning hyphen button. Okay, this is for Lightning hyphen button. Then how can we place this button controls on my Lightning Web Component? Now let me show you practically here. Now let's see. I'm preparing a lightning component. I would like to apply this same style here also. So let me copy this style. The same div style I would like to apply. Now let me close this. Now I'm creating a lightning web component. Now go to the command palette, create lightning web component. Now button controls component. Okay, button controls component. Select the default directory. So now my component has been prepared. So now I would like to add a style file. Button controls component.css. Now, so here I'm placing this the same style over here. I'm applying this the same style. Now, let's see how can we place the button controls inside. Now, let's see how can we place the button controls. I'm going to the template file, place the button controls. Here I'm indicating the div tag. Inside this, I'm placing the button control here. Then how can we place this button controls? Now let me show you practically in this case. Now, I'm indicating this. Lightning button. Okay, lightning button. Now, generally what we do when coming to that ARA components, after writing this lightning button, here we are closing here itself. Okay, we are closing here itself. But when you go to the lightning web component, it won't allow. This is one small change that you remember. Please remember this. Generally, even though when you go to Visualforce also will do same. Okay, but in lightning web component won't accept that. Compulsorily, we have to specify that starting tag and then ending tag both mandatorily. Okay, we are using this lightning button here. That's it. Both we have to specify. Without that, it won't accept. It will be showing some error message also. I'm indicating here. All the button controls I would like to place. Lightning button label equals to, here we are getting IntelliSense. There you won't get any IntelliSense when coming to the developer console. Label property, I'm indicating base control here. Okay, base. Now I'm indicating the variant equals to base and the title equals to like a base, like as a base component. Now, next one, I'm indicating one more button control. Okay, with all the variants, let me show you. Now, label equals to neutral. Label equals to neutral. And the variant. That means appearance, what type of button you want to show. I want to indicate that neutral. Neutral variant. Next, title. I'm indicating that neutral component. Lightning button label equals to, I'm indicating brand. Variant equals to brand. I don't want to apply any other properties also over here. Next one, lightning button label equals to brand outline. I'm indicating brand outline. Variant equals to, we have to specify the brand outline. Brand hyphen outline. Okay, brand hyphen outline. Next, I'm indicating lightning button. I would like to specify the destructive. Label equals to destructive. Variant equals to destructive. Destructive. Lightning button, I'm going to be indicating label equals to destructive text. And the variant equals to destructive text. Now, and then I would like to specify the success button, and then I would like to place inverse button also both. Now, lightning button label equals to success. Variant equals to success. Next one. Lightning button label equals to inverse. Variant equals to inverse. These are the buttons here, okay, which I'm going to represent on my component. On my component, I would like to place these buttons, like as I would like to specify the base variant, neutral, brand, brand outline, destructive, destructive text, success, and the inverse. Now, these are the various buttons here. These are the variants that we have for the button. It's a normal button only. On that button, different styles, okay, different styles we are representing over here. Now, let's see. I'm giving some space for each and every button control. I would like to indicate ampersand NBSP, nothing but new blank space, and then ampersand NBSP. I'm giving two spaces here after each and every button control, so that we can able to differentiate the buttons. Now, let's see. Save this. Verify, do we have any issues? Now, my component has been migrated successfully. Let me run this. I want to access this component inside my application. So now inside this application, so what is that component? Okay, button controls component. Button controls component. Okay, just you can able to deploy this application also, and then we can run. But please make sure that before running this application, please make sure that application has been extended with force SLDS, because if you want to show that respective, okay, the variants or the styles for the buttons, it should be collecting from SLDS, okay, lighting design system. Now, let's go to your Scratch arc, run this. Now, here we can able to see the button controls. Let me give that style, that particular ancient of this 500. I'm going to be indicating, okay, 1000 pixel. Now run this. So we can see the buttons, different styles of buttons. See, it is having like as a normal name, base component, neutral, so which will be having some background white, brand, this is the brand style, brand outline, which will be having that white background, it will be having a blue color border, destructive, which is a red color, and then this is having white color background and then red color text. This is the success, and then inverse. When you place the mouse pointer, it is going to be indicating this inverse button. Now, upon placing the mouse pointer, the button control will be getting visible to you over here. This is how we can able to place the button controls also, okay, on your lighting components, okay, with the help of this lighting button tag. So don't use that straightforward lighting button tags over here. So we have to use this. Now, next one, how to place that button controls, okay, along with some icons also. Okay, how to place. Now let me show you practically. So now I would like to place the icons also along with the buttons. Let me go to this. I'm going to be giving some break tags. Now, let me take this lightning tag. Now, here I would like to show that lightning tag along with the buttons. So here I'm going to be indicating the various button controls, like as the label equals to, I'm going to be indicating new, okay, new, the variant here. We can specify variant. I'm going to be indicating brand outline, brand outline. So now I don't want the title anything. Now let me place multiple, okay, lighting components. Now, so now these are the various components which I have placed over. Multiple button controls I have placed. But for each and every button, I want to place some icon. Right now, when you run this one, it will be placing like as a normal button controls over here. New, like this, it is placing this. I want to change this caption also. I would like to place that respective icon also over here. Now let's see. How can we do that? That already we know. I'm indicating new button. And this is edit button. And then this is, I would like to specify delete button. Cancel button. Now, I would like to specify log a call. I'm indicating end call. And then I would like to specify a download icon also here. Download. I'm placing one more, that is show message. So you can specify send message. Now, next one. These are the buttons labels. So now here I would like to place this button controls along with some message icon also. Right now I have changed the labels of the buttons. Refresh this. Now these are the buttons are visible here. New, edit, delete, cancel, log a call, end a call, download, send a message. Now I would like to place the images also along with this button controls. Now for that one, we have to go with the properties. As part of this buttons, we are having this property. Now icon name, okay, icon name property. What is that icon name here? We can specify. We can get the icon from lighting design system that already we know. Go to that lighting design system. Go to the lighting design system, go to the icons. Here we have various types of icons are available. Utility icons. I would like to place an icon that is called as a new. Okay, that is I would like to place it as a new icon over here. We can specify either the icons here. Whatever the icon that you want, we can specify. Either it may be standard icon or utility icons or action icon, or whatever you want, you can able to specify over here. Now, for example, I would like to place an icon that is called as a new. So now let me search. Control F, new. So now this is the new here. So now this is comes under utility icons here because these are the utility icons. We have to specify utility colon new. Specify that property. Icon name equals to utility colon new. We can specify that utility icon here. Like the similar way. Now edit. For this edit, let's verify what icons are available. Edit. Now I would like to specify this edit icon. As part of utility, do we have edit? Now here we have this edit. You can specify either this one, edit form. This is one icon name. These are comes under utility icons over here because these are utility icons. Now you can specify the utility colon this particular icon name. Each icon will be having its own name. We can specify the icon name over here. Now here we are having this. Icon name equals to utility colon edit. Next one, delete. Do we have any delete icon? Let's see. Yes, there is a delete icon in the utility bar. Icon name utility delete. Next, cancel. Cancel. Now, so now here cancel transfer or cancel file request we are having, and along with that we are having some cancel checkout. These are the three buttons are available here. Let me go with the cancel checkout. This cancel checkout is comes under which one? These are comes under standard actions here. So we can specify standard colon icon name equals to standard colon you cancel checkout. Log a call. Now let's verify. Search for that icon. Log a call. Now so there is an option. Log a call under utility. Icon name equals to utility log a call. End call. Now we can specify end call. End call. This is the option. This is the image here under utility. Here I'm indicating icon name equals to utility end call. Now, next one, download. Let's verify the download icon. Now this is the download icon under this action icons. Now icon name equals to action download and send a message. Now let's verify. Send a message. Now we can specify that message. So now you would like to specify the send a message icon over here. Now here we can specify this live message icon. Now we can specify icon name equals to this comes under utility. Utility. We are having this live message. So now these are the button controls which I have placed over here. So now the whatever the icon that we are going to place, that icon position we can specify. Icon position equals to left. Based on your requirement, we can specify left or right, whatever you want. I want to place in the left. Now, this is for left. Now, for this one, I would like to specify right. Here is the left. Now, from here, I would like to specify right. Now, icon position equals to right. Also right. Let's save this. Save this component. Already we know when coming to this tags, properties already we know. But the property names are changed over here. There we are having icon, okay, capital N, C. When you go to this icon name, C. But here as part of Lightning Web Component, it should be icon hyphen small n, not capital. Now let's see. Run this component. So now let's see the button controls here. So whatever the buttons we have specified, the buttons will be getting visible along with the respective icons also. New button, edit button, delete, cancel, log a call, end a call, download, send message. Like that we can able to show the button controls along with some messages also over here. These are few transformations that we have. These are few changes that we have from Aura components to Lightning Web Components. Okay, in terms of tags, in terms of properties, okay, we have few changes are available. Tomorrow we'll see some more components like as a button groups and then Lightning card. I will show you tomorrow how can we implement, and then we'll see how can we implement the input controls also. I will show you practically, and then from next week onwards we'll see how can we invoke the custom controllers. That means here how can we implement the client-side controller like as JavaScript. How to write the JavaScript functions here, how to call it, and how can we invoke, everything we'll see from next week onwards perfectly. Now, so this week we're concentrating on designing part. Once the designing is done, then upon click on the button controls, how to invoke the actions, we'll see in the next week here. Tomorrow we have the session as usual at same timing set, morning at 7:30. Now, let me place this code. I'm placing this. Use this. Now, let me place this use case. Design a Lightning Web Component to represent the button controls and represent the button along with the icon. Now, template file. Style class. I haven't used any JavaScript, so that I'm not placing any JavaScript code here. Okay, now tomorrow we'll see some more components like as input components and then button menus, and then we'll see Lightning card component, because in most of the cases we are using these components here. Lightning card is very, very important in most of the places we are going to use in Lightning Web Component development. So tomorrow we'll see those components also, and then we'll see how can we implement JavaScript and then how to invoke JavaScript controllers. Okay, from our Lightning Web Components, we'll see practically. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for your time. Let's meet on tomorrow at same time.